every player, even players who have your hammers, eventually that leather comes off or wears out, and people want to replace it themselves.
Well, I've had a number of people who have sent and said, "Do you have some more leathers?" I just cut them off some strips and send them to them, no charge, because that's something they can do themselves.
Sure.
As long as they don't use too much glue, because glue will soak into the leather and make it really hard if you use too much. Especially, don't use super glue. That'll soak right in. I have some leathers sitting around here, so I'll pick out a thin leather here, and we'll glue on a piece of leather here. Now, what do I have I can glue onto that? These here don't have any leather on them yet.
All right, next question. First question before you do this. How do you cut that shape?
Oh, that's elementary.
Sure it is.
I have a little self-healing board here. And where's my triangular? Here it goes.
I will say, as I've watched you do this, you've never had to take more than 2 or 3 steps to get what you need at the time you need it.
Everything is right here, I know. This is my mailing department over here. With labels and envelopes and rubber bands and boxes to pack it in and wrapping stuff.
How long did it take you? I guess this is a hard question to answer because you're probably always still organizing, but tell me about that process of getting organized so that it was fun to do.
Well, if you just start out haphazardly, things will generally fall into line. You're doing one step and you need to move to the next machine. You don't want it to be way across the room. So I sort of progress along there, and in the drawer, the things that I use most are right at my fingertips. Other stuff I happen to know where it is because I've put it there. But sometimes I do forget. Where's that thing I was looking for?
I think the thing that would be a problem for the hobbyist who says, I want to build a pair of hammers, is you're also in the same room that you fix your lawnmower,
yeah.
and that you're doing all these other projects, and so I mean you've got a lot invested in your shop and having it be a good workplace for doing this one thing.
And that's the problem with a hobbyist wants to make a pair of hammers. The oscillating spindle sander is almost a necessity the way I make them. But is somebody going to spend $250 to just make a pair of hammers and use it just for that? But that's a good investment for me because I use it for a lot of different things.
Yeah. All right, so you're going to cut for us?
Yes. And this again is eyeball. I know it needs to be about that wide.
That is.
And a good sharp X-Acto number 11 blade. Just slices it right off. And then, here again, this is a well, I'll do it up here. It's easier to clean up there. You need very little glue. Very little glue. And I have sanded this off so there's no lacquer or any wax or anything on there.
So if somebody's trying to repair a hammer, Bob, the first thing they need to do is probably sand it down again. To get the old glue off.
Yeah, sand the old leather off. And you don't want a lot of this. Then I just take this and rock it on there. And there's 2 sides of leather, a finished side and a rough side. I always glue the rough side because there's more fibrous hairs that will grip into the glue. And sometimes I do this to make sure it's on there. I want to make sure it's straight. And then I do this little extra thing. The ends are very vulnerable to getting whipped off here, so I just take and put a little glue down there. And when that dries, that creates a surface, a hard surface over the end of that leather, so it's not going to rip off of there. And the hammer is done, except to get it ready for shipping, we have to weigh it and package it. And then it's all ready.
How long would you feel that glue needed to dry on that leather? Seems like that'd take a little longer.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't go playing with this for a few hours.